Alright, I'm going to tell you some truth. This is truly the truth. Some of you may not like it. Some of you out there want to deny it. But it's like this. The truth still happens, whether you want to believe it or not. The truth still happens, whether you want to deny it or not. And there are people that actually know the truth is true, and they want to keep it hidden, so they'll push it down, deflect it, point the finger at the messenger, and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a liar. You don't know. Or they'll try to shadow ban you, or they'll try to, cover you up some way or another. Well, I'm not worried about being shadow banned. I'm only concerned because the divine is taking care of my channel and my words and my truth. Actually, it's not my truth. It is the truth. There's a reason why truth has the word "the" after it, or before it. I mean, that's why they call it the truth, because there's only one truth in any situation. There's one truth. You might have a little gray area around the edges. That's why it's called life, because you're allowed to. There's some variance there. You might have it's the difference between having a purple sweater and a slightly purple sweater. If somebody says that's a purple sweater, and somebody else might say that's kind of a reddish purple sweater. It's still a purple sweater, right? So that kind of thing. But the fact is, it's a purple sweater. Okay, you can't deny that. Hang on one second. Okay, so I had some lint on the screen there. I had to wipe off. Okay, so truth. There are energetic sacrifices. I'm talking sacrifices, just like what you believe what you want to believe now. But it's the truth. There are groups of people, be they in a coven, be they in an Eastern Star, be they a Mason, Scottish Rite Mason, whatever kind of Mason you want to say. The people at the bottom will deny this because the people at the bottom don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they don't know everything about everything. That's why they're not 33 degrees. Or the people at the top do. People that have the most money, they know. They know what the truth is. And they'll deny it because they've got a lot to lose. They don't want anybody knowing what's really going on. They got a lot, like I said, they got a lot to lose. They'll laugh it off, blow it off, lie it off, whatever they want to. Or they'll shadow ban people like me. Well, I got news for you. You're not going to shadow ban me forever. Oh no, you're not gonna hide and cover up my channel forever. Because I'm calling judgment on the people that are shadow banning me, like Mike and others that are above him. So, you shadow ban me, you block me in some way on this channel, you do so at your own peril. Because the divine's not messing around anymore. The truth has been held back for too long. So you take people like where they have these terrible accidents, like at concerts. There's people that know, there's people that have a lot of money that have had rituals, and they tie the energy to that event, and they get stuff back. They get more wealth, they get more influence, power, control, whatever it is that they're after. More influence, more, they're attacking somebody around the world. their attack will have more power, behind it. Sometimes this could be at a governmental level too. Like if the United States is trying to affect something in another part of the world, you'll have events that happen, and people will pull energy off that ritually. And when I say ritually, I'm talking about black magic. They'll do black magic ceremonies. And a lot of people think, oh, the person that they're trying, like, you got to have a traditional sacrifice. The person's got to be there, and you got to like cut them up, and you got to, kill them off right there. Stab them to death, or that kind of thing. No, you don't. It happens. It can happen that way. That's one type of sacrifice. But there's other sacrifices too. You can do it from a distance. I'll give you a good example. And again, I'm not worried about anybody banning me or blocking this channel, or because one, I'll sue the fuck out of you, and I'll get every dime I get, because everything I'm saying is true, and I dare anybody in court to prove it otherwise. They won't do that because they know when we get in discovery, everything will come out that they don't want out. Number two, I'll make a lot of money. It's a win-win for me. So I'm not worried about it. You don't deny somebody's constitutional rights, their human right to say what they want to say. And I'm not slandering anybody because I'm not using specific people's names. And organizations, I'm not saying that those people want to be private anyway. They're blocking people out. They're not taking everybody in. So, you know what? If you're blocking a bunch of people out, why do you care if somebody, and it's exclusive club, why do you care if somebody is saying something about your organization? You're blocking 99.9% of the people out anyway, right? So, but the truth's going to come out, and God will whoop your ass if you don't let it come out. Like I said, you do so at your own peril if you block this channel from here on out. Now, God's let it go so far. But I dare say, if you look at the last few months, the last few weeks of your life, whoever's been actively involved in doing this, whether you've been telling somebody to do it, or whether you've been doing it yourself on the keyboard, I dare say you've been having some stuff happen that you've not been too thrilled about happening. Well, that's only going to get worse if you don't stand down and stop. Of course, you're not going to believe me, just like the people down there in Texas didn't believe me. And like some of the people in Texas still aren't believing me. That's okay. You'll be made a believer one way or another. Okay, so energetic sacrifice. You can do that at a distance. You take that concert in Indiana a few years ago that the Lincoln Park had. Now, Lincoln Park didn't have necessarily anything to do with this. It wasn't like the band was out there messing with something that caused the problem. But there were people in high places within the music industry and within, people that had money. Maybe they weren't necessarily in the music industry, but they were within some of these organizations, these secret societies. They gave the word. They said, you want to, if you want to continue to be successful, then we're going to have to have sacrifice here. Now, I don't know the details of what went on. I'm not really worried about that. But the fact is that you had a catastrophe where the damn stage fell. I'm telling you, somebody did something, or let me put it this way, didn't do something, and it caused a problem, and you know the result. Somewhere, someplace, somebody off those people that died got energy, they siphoned. And I explained this before. You say, like, well, what are you talking about? I'm talking about, like, in a car where you pull gas out of one car and put it into another car, and the other car will drive down the highway off the gas of the other car. Well, that's what we're talking about here. It's like vampiric. It's like parasitic. type of energy going on here. Sometimes these people will even have demonic. And I know people in here they're cringing at this, and they're like wanting to turn it off. Turn it off if you want to. I don't really care. I'm not doing this for clicks. I'm doing this for truth. You'll have demonic entities that they call on. And this ain't just the music industry. This ain't like they're going, this ain't like Led Zeppelin back in the day. This ain't some whisper, hey, did you hear about Led Zeppelin and blah, 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 blah. No, okay, no. Did you hear about this metal band? This goes on in everything. This goes on in everything. Hollywood, politics. Hell, even business. There's CEOs that are involved with this stuff. So don't sit there and laugh and you like I said, you can shoot the messenger down. Shoot the messenger down. But the truth's gonna come out. And all I'm doing, I'm all about the truth. You go back through my channel and you go back all the way back to the beginning of my first videos on here, and I tell you, I'm all about the truth. It's the truth. I don't got any reason to lie. And look, I'm being shadow banned right now. You think I care? You think I'm worried about that? I don't care. I'm not worried about being shadow banned. I'm not worried about how many people are trying to block me and everything. I know God is the creator, and he'll take care of it. And all I can say is, you do so at your own peril from here on out. Because the truth cannot be covered up forever. So they take that energy, and these demons, these entities, they're not all demonic, but many of them are. And they put some of these are like elementals and things. It's like not demonic, but not of the light either. It's kind of a mix, And what they do is these demons, they call upon for help, or they call upon these other entities for help. And the entities will tell them, or the demons will tell them, do this, and they got deals working. Or the people actually, most of the time, the people will offer it up. They'll say, we'll offer up you this many souls, or we'll offer you up the energy from these people. Not everybody has to die. You can have people that get hurt really bad, and they still pull the energy off those people while they're hurt and from their misery. Yeah. So it's multifaceted. It's not just, everybody's got to die in order for them to get energy. In fact, you can have people you work with who might be involved with this stuff, and those people might be pulling energy off you. If you get around somebody, or you go to work and you seem unusually drained, and you're like, man, I don't understand why I'm so tired. You might want to look around. There might be somebody around you, around your work, around your neighborhood, hell, even at your church. Yeah. These people, I've had that people in my own family for years that have been pulling energy off me until I figured it out a few months ago. And people blocking me and using that blockage to level up themselves. And that also goes on with this stuff like I'm talking about. So like this woman with that just passed away, where they had the FBI manhunt and it went coast to coast, and they finally found her body in Arizona. There are people that have done rituals to pull off the fear and the turmoil and the agony, misery that people are feeling when they watch that. I know there's people on here that aren't even related to that woman. Now, my condolences to her family. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to get clicks and stuff, and I'm not trying to hurt her family's feelings. Just no more than I'm trying to hurt the feelings of the people that were involved with that accident in Indiana a few years back. But the truth is the truth, and I'm just trying to get you to get the people who are totally walking around blind, which is about 95% of the world, to understand what's really going on behind the scenes. And so that woman, while they had her on TV and they were talking about, this went on for like over a week, and so they were scaring people, and they were all poor, people would watch that and they go, oh, that poor family, oh. That feeling that you had was going up into the ethers, and people that did rituals on this stuff were pulling that energy, that loose energy, which is what they call it, and they were that negative energy, anything that's a negative emotion, pain, suffering, misery, agony, distress, anger, fear. And anger is just another form of fear. You're afraid of something, and so it's causing you to have to be angry about something. And sorrow, now they're really, they're still pulling energy off of it, because now there's all this outcry and sorrow and sadness. They're getting the energy off that. There's somebody that's probably making money off that. There's somebody making power and influence off that in these rituals. Black magic ceremonies, these black magic rituals. And they got these entities that they work with, and they tell them, okay, this is going to happen. We're going to tie the energy of that negative, all that negative energy to you. And then, because, now that you've got, when you get it, you help us do this, this, and this. They have like a little short list of what they want in exchange for providing those negative emotions to that entity. That entity needs those emotions, or entities, sometimes it's more than one, so that they can, it's like food for them. That's how they work. They don't have a body, they have a spirit, and that spirit pulls the energy off of the event or the situation or the people, whatever. And it can range. You can have a bank failure that somebody caused, and all the sorrow and unhappiness from everybody losing their money will go to help these, for these people that have the black magic ceremonies going on. They pull the negative energy off that. Now, some people actually have the entities in them, or attached to them in some way. Maybe not demonically possessed, but they are demonically surrounded. And so what'll happen is they'll do deals with with whatever's attached to them, or whatever's in them, or whatever, and they will get improvements, levels up in their life, because they are doing whatever it is. Sometimes the entity's not on the outside of them. Sometimes it's inside of the person that's doing the ceremonies, the black magic. Sometimes it's just kind of around them, and attached to them. It's got some sort of imagine a cord, and it's tied to them. So the energy will come to them, and then the energy goes through them to the entity. So that's a little lesson. Lesson number 1. Or I guess maybe that might be lesson number 2. I think I've talked about this before. Or you remember that. Whenever you see all this tragedy going on, like Katrina, like Hurricane Katrina, or like some of that kind of stuff like that going on, first thing you need to ask yourself is, who's benefiting from this? Because somebody is. And it's not just about money. Some of this stuff doesn't even make any sense. Like Katrina, some of that didn't even make any sense, the stuff that went on. Why would you do things this way? Because they are getting energy off of it, because they are getting negative energy off of it, which supplies these people and allows them to make more control, more money, more influence, more wealth, more success. even, you know, to stay young looking even.